The training field was alive with motion as sleek German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois sprinted across the ground with unmatched focus. Every bark carried determination, every leap showed power, and every command from their handlers echoed discipline. This was not ordinary play. It was the intense world of K-9 police training where instincts were sharpened into skills and loyalty became the strongest weapon. Here dogs were not just companions, they were heroes in the making, learning to protect, serve, and face dangers that even humans feared. In their eyes burned courage and in their hearts lived duty. The sun rose over the training compound, casting golden light across rows of obstacles and practice fields. Officers adjusted their gear while dogs stood alert, tails stiff and eyes watching. The K-9 unit had gathered for another day of demanding exercises where both human and dog worked as a single team. Training a K-9 police dog was not simply about teaching commands. It was about forging trust between handler and dog. Each pair learned to read subtle signals from the other, a flicker of movement or a shift of weight. This bond was built day by day on respect, patience, and unbreakable loyalty. The compound itself looked like a small fortress. There were mock urban setups with abandoned cars and buildings for search drills. Tunnels and barricades were arranged for agility practice. Large open fields allowed dogs to run at full speed while tracking scents laid out by hidden officers. Today was special. A full-action training scenario had been planned, one that would push the dogs and handlers to their limits. The exercise would mimic real dangers, including armed suspects, explosive detection, and rescue simulations. For the young recruits, it was a chance to prove their readiness. For the experienced dogs, it was a test to refine their instincts. The handlers knew it would be tough. Mistakes could not be ignored because in the real world hesitation meant lives at risk. The atmosphere was tense but filled with purpose. Every heartbeat on that field, human and K-9 alike, shared one mission: to train hard today so they could save tomorrow. The whistle blew and the first scenario began. A mock chase unfolded with two officers playing suspects running through the obstacle course. The handler shouted a command and Rex, a powerful German Shepherd, launched forward like a bolt of lightning. His paws pounded the ground as he closed the distance, weaving between barriers with precision. When the suspect turned, Rex leaped, tackling him to the ground with controlled force. The crowd of trainers nodded. This was textbook pursuit. Nearby, another team worked on scent detection. A Belgian Malinois named Zara lowered her nose to the ground following a faint trail. Hidden somewhere in a car was a mock explosive. Zara circled the vehicle, ears twitching, tail stiff. She froze, pawing lightly at the trunk. The handler rewarded her instantly. In the real world, this detection could mean saving hundreds of lives. Not all teams found success right away. A young recruit dog named Max hesitated at a high jump wall. His handler knelt, calling gently, offering encouragement. Max circled once, then ran with determination and cleared the wall. Applause rose from the sidelines. Training was not only about perfect skills, it was about growth and trust. The final challenge of the day loomed. A large abandoned building at the far end of the field stood waiting. Inside, officers had staged a full simulation with hidden suspects and mock hostages. Dogs would be tested on obedience, courage, and control in a high-pressure environment. Handlers tightened leashes, dogs shifted eagerly, ready for the ultimate test. Every team understood what lay ahead. The building was dark, filled with noises and distractions designed to break focus. But these were police dogs in training, bred for resilience and sharpened by discipline. Together, handler and dog stepped forward into the unknown challenge. The doors of the abandoned building swung open and the first team entered. Darkness swallowed them. Echoes of footsteps bounced across the halls as shadows flickered. The handler whispered commands and the dog moved with silent precision. Suddenly a door burst open and a man in padded protective gear lunged forward acting as an armed suspect. The dog reacted instantly, launching forward and gripping the arm with perfect control. The suspect stumbled, pinned as the handler secured the scene. Another team entered a floor above. They were tasked with a hostage rescue simulation. Cries for help echoed through the corridors. Zara the Malinois tilted her head, then darted toward the sound. She guided her handler through twisting hallways until they found the mock hostage bound to a chair. Between them and safety stood another suspect. Zara lunged but stopped short on command, showing restraint. The handler shouted orders while officers secured the suspect. The hostage was freed. Max faced his toughest test in the final room. Smoke filled the space and loud noises rattled the walls. It was chaos designed to overwhelm. Max hesitated, ears flat, eyes wide. His handler dropped to one knee, speaking calmly, his hands steady on the leash. Max took a deep breath, then pushed forward, nose guiding him to the hidden suspect. With one last burst of courage, he located the man, bringing him down. Cheers erupted from the trainers watching on hidden cameras. The climax of the training was complete. Every dog had faced fear, distraction, and danger. Some stumbled, but all found their strength guided by trust in their handlers. The dogs emerged from the building panting but proud. Handlers patted their partners, giving rewards of praise and toys. The once tense field now filled with laughter and claps. What mattered most was not perfection but progress. Each dog had learned and each handler had grown closer to their partner. Trainers gathered the teams together for feedback. Mistakes were highlighted, not to criticize but to teach. Rex's chase had been flawless, but his release command needed sharper timing. Zara's detection was outstanding, but her handler was reminded to slow his pace. Max's courage shined brightest, proving that even the youngest dog could rise under pressure. As the sun dipped low behind the compound, the field quieted. Dogs rested at their handlers' sides, tails wagging lightly. The bond between them was visible in every glance and touch. They were no longer just officers and animals. They were teammates, family, ready to face whatever dangers the future held. Training ended, but the mission of the K9 unit never truly stopped. Every bark, every command, and every exercise built a foundation for real-life service. These dogs were not just trained for action, they were prepared to protect communities, to track down criminals, to rescue the lost, and to find the hidden threats that could harm innocent lives. For the handlers, the journey was just as meaningful. Working with their K9 partners demanded patience, trust, and sacrifice. Together they faced challenges that pushed them beyond limits. Together they celebrated victories big and small. And in those victories they discovered the true heart of the K9 police unit. As darkness settled, the teams packed their gear. Dogs climbed into transport vehicles, ready to return to kennels for rest. Yet their spirit never dimmed. Tomorrow training would begin again with new challenges. Each day they grew stronger, more disciplined, and more united. The K9 police dogs had proven once again that they were more than animals. They were guardians, standing between danger and safety, courage and fear, chaos and peace. In their eyes the mission never ended. And as long as they stood by their handlers, the world had protectors who would never back down.